Welcome to 6 Steps to Your Irresistible Brand Part 2, presented by me, Fabiola Giordani. Last time we left off in the training in terms of speaking about being business trendy and crafting your story. And if you didn't get a chance to watch the last video, go back and review it. But basically, being business trendy refers to just finding the latest and greatest trends that are going around. And you can be a trendsetter yourself in terms of creating different trends that will attract your ideal clients and also keep them interested, keep them focused, and keep you in the loop as well in terms of being top of mind for certain trends and also being the expert in your field. And of course, the most important, which is crafting your story, because people want to buy from you. You are the brand, and also people want to know more about your story, why you do what you do, and of course how you can help them. And stories keep people intrigued. They help people learn and understand things better. So let's get started to the next two pieces of the training, which are key here. So the first one I want to talk about is value, 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 value. I know there's not those extra values, but this is very key. We all want to provide value. And when you are providing value in your marketplace, people notice that. People notice that you are sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and they can see you as the expert. So think about what value can you put out there for free that relates to your business and attract your ideal customers or clients. So for example, if you are into blogging or vlogging in terms of YouTube videos, what pictures that you can share, social media posts, other free contents, in terms of if you want to do free webinars, what are those things that you can do within those outlets to provide value to your customers? And when you do, how are you going to deliver that? Because sometimes I hear clients or people say, I don't know what to give, what to share. I don't know how to share more value. And the thing is, because I don't want to give it the most common statements. I don't want to give too much value and then people won't buy. The reality is when you are giving value, that's when people want to buy from you, because they are finding what you're giving, the content that you're giving to them as something that they can utilize in their business and apply. And they want to learn more from you. Like, I want to know more. How can I make my business more profitable? Because, step 1 and 2 that you shared in your YouTube video was very valuable and it provided me some sort of results, and I want to know more. And therefore, I want to purchase more. Now, there's a fine balance, but the reality is that's the world that we live in. That's the marketing world that we live in. People are looking for value. And they're not just buying just because you're telling them to buy or because you have a snazzy headline, which is key, but that's just going to attract the customer. But now when they're reading your offering and they're reading your your sales page, or they're watching that video, if they're not feeling like they're getting any value out of this, they're not going to want to buy. So when people visit your website, your opt-in freebies or your email newsletters, or even if you have a local meetup group, what value are you giving to that meetup group? Because I personally have one, and I provide value in terms of free trainings there, and luncheons and things like that. So there are other ways that you can provide value to your audience. You just have to first know who your ideal audience is and exactly what they're looking for. And second, think of a few ways that you could provide value to them. So for example, you can give them value through a free ebook as an opt-in. You can provide value on your next blog post, maybe giving 10 steps or 5 steps or 3 steps to a problem that one of your recent clients just had. If they had problems with crafting a story, for example, if you're a business coach, you can provide 3 things that they can do right away to make changes to their story where it can be easier to write it, but also easier for others to understand. If you're a web designer, maybe you can give them a few tips on how they can optimize their websites to get more sales, because, maybe you as a web designer may have gone to someone's website to help them out, maybe having a consultation, and you realize, the last 3 consultations, people don't have a buy now button, or they don't have a contact me button, or they don't have a button that says book a free consultation with me, which is ideal if you're a coach because you want to get to know if this person is right for your program. So these are some of the ways that you can provide value, and it could be through an opt-in, it could be through your social media posts. There's several places that you can start dishing out this value. But the key here is to give value to those who are in your ideal market space in terms of your ideal clients. Because again, they're going to want to see that from you, and they will in turn see the value of your value and want to buy from you. And that also makes you irresistible because, people are more attracted to what you have to say. It's not just you're throwing something on your Facebook page just to see it sticks. Hey, I'm doing something this week. There's something on my Facebook page. Check it out. It's more so I'm going to go to that person's Facebook page because I know that I'm going to get either value in terms of entertainment or education on their website. The next key step is very, very important. Be seen, be heard, be profitable. I'm going to take a little more time on this slide just because there's tons to talk about here. Now, your brand, if you want to be a brand that's irresistible, that stand out from the crowd, that's, that is client attractive, you need to be different from the rest. That's why having your unique story is very important. Having your trendy topics is very important. Providing value different from the rest is important, but really you need to be the loudest. You need to be the one that everybody sees in the forefront in your industry. That's the key here. And I know if you're an introvert, you're probably like, no, I don't want to do this, but there are still ways for you to be seen, be heard, and be profitable. That's the goal. If you're seen and you're heard and people like what you're doing, then they in turn are going to want to buy from you, which is the key here. And so we want to figure out a few ways to help you get to that stage. So in terms, like I'm always preaching this, that your brand is not always how shiny and beautiful your website is and how amazing your logo is and the beautiful colors. It's really about giving that customer or that potential customer a great experience, building that relationship with them, and then they will want to buy from you because of that relationship. And it may be someone you just encountered, like, someone recommended them to you because now they trust their friend. Their friend recommended them to you, and they go to your website and they see how pretty it is, but they also see all the great value you're giving. Then they booked a consultation with you and they get to speak with you, and they're like, wow, this is amazing. I love the way this person works. I want to work with them as well. Now, of course, that may not happen that way every time, but that's the goal. So why do you need to be seen? Well, if no one knows that you exist, it's kind of hard to actually have a business. And remember that a business has to make money for it to be a business. Otherwise, it's just a project or a volunteer situation. So if no one's visiting your website, no one's reading your blog post, no one's on your social media page, no one's sharing anything about you, or even no one knows that you exist, that's a problem. So some of the ways for you to be seen is through your website, but also through social media, through going to actual live networking events. I can't stress that enough, that yes, you have an online business, but going out there and speaking to other people, or especially your ideal audience, is key. And some of the ways you can do that is by going out to speak at events and be a speaker. You have access to hundreds, if not thousands of people, depending on the audience that you're going to speak to. And it's not always about selling, but it's about motivating and inspiring that person to the point where when they get home, or even right there at the conference or at the seminar or even at the workshop, they pull up your website on your phone, bam, they booked a consultation because they were just so empowered by your message. And that's a way for you to be seen and be heard. You should consider opportunities of how to get in the media, writing for publications, because a lot of our magazines and a lot of the newspapers, they're online now. Most of them, if they're not, they're probably not in existence. They accept written articles in terms of the topic. You can write about the topics that you're in. So don't write, if you're not a life coach, you can write things in terms of life-altering decisions and things like that, but try focusing on topics that pertains to what you do as a business. These people, when you get the people to read that article on, for example, the Huffington Post, they're going to want to know who you are because they put that information about you. They're going to click to whatever link you provide Huffington Post, and they're going to find out what you do. So you definitely want them intrigued. So keep it to that topic. As you can see here, I posted share value in terms of what we talked about before is, giving out that free content that's actually valuable, not just having an opt-in just because. Make sure that opt-in will actually give your ideal audience, whoever opts in, a result. and being credible. So definitely providing credibility is important. And how do you build that? It's from doing things like guest blogging, for not only things, the publications like Huffington Post, but maybe another person who's maybe not directly in your field, but that accepts guest blogs. Maybe someone who has your ideal audience. Maybe they're working on a different piece with your ideal audience, like a money coach, and you're a business coach. That would be a perfect place for you to guest blog, because they're talking to people about their money blocks and their issues, and you're talking to them about how they can make money in their business. So you can pair up with that person if they accept guest blogs and they have tons of people on their mailing list and tons of people visiting their website. That's a great place to start creating fame and create credibility, because then people can see that you've been around, that you know what you're talking about, because other people and other websites are saying, yes, we are accepting this article from this person because we find them credible. And of course, be known and be the expert, which are the same things. So be known in your industry, for what you do. You want to stand out from the crowd of samies. You don't want to be the same, in terms of the information that you're giving out. I mean, you can, because we're all basically serving the same way, but you can deliver it differently. You can provide your market a different take on what you're teaching them. It doesn't always, even though it's the same information, the way you serve it could be completely different. As long as it's credible, as long as it's honest, that's what you're looking to do. And in turn, that will focus on the end result here, which is being profitable. So the way to be profitable is to follow those steps, is to be different and to stand out and to be the loudest person in the crowd. Now, I've seen women take their business from 0 to 6K in less than 5 months. Why? Because they were always hosting webinars. They were always out there sharing value. It wasn't just about their opt-in. It was their blog posts. It was their videos. And some of them just stuck to webinars, and they were like, I'm going to do a webinar a week, and each webinar, no matter who's sitting there, I'm going to give them all my energy. I'm going to give them all my value. And think about it this way real quick. If you think about a webinar itself, with a webinar, when you run the webinar, those who attend live, you don't have to offer a playback. It's nice for you to do that because not everyone can attend live. But let's just say you have 100 people on your webinar, 1,000 people tuning in to listen to what you're giving. They're taking notes, but they won't be able to take as many notes. And two, even if you do the replay, let's say you give them the whole formula, not everyone is going to take that formula and they still won't understand. They might need to know more. And that's where you step in. So when you're giving the value, even if you don't want to give the whole farm away, you can still give tons of content, tons of value that will not only, give them what they need in terms of, learning more, but intrigue them to say, you know what, I really need this information in more detail. I need to reach out to Fabiola, or I need to reach out to you, whoever's listening to this video or watching it, to learn more. So it's time to take some action, people, because we're not about just taking notes and watching videos. We're action takers. So I want to ask you, how are you going to give value in the marketplace, in your marketplace? How are you going to do that? Now, think about some of the things that you're not doing right now. Maybe you don't have an opt-in on your website because you thought, hey, people can just get on my mailing list. But that's not enough. Maybe you might want to give them something in terms of a video training or an ebook or something that pertains to what you do as a business to get them onto your website. Also, think about yourself in terms of positioning yourself as an expert and being different. Write down what we talked about in terms of crafting your story. What are 3 things that makes you different than the rest of the coaches and the rest of the online entrepreneurs out there? And when you figure that out, then you can say, okay, well, this is what makes me different, and these are the avenues that I like. So to position yourself as an expert, you can go out to speak to other groups. That's a good way to start. Other ways is guest blogging, like I mentioned, or even writing for different publications if that's what you want to do. And what I like to call create fame around your business, create fame around what you do, and let people know, hey, I'm here and I'm here to serve. And if you're looking for that expert, that's me. Now, expert is a mindset. Do not feel as an expert, you can still learn from others. Doesn't mean anything. It's just that you want to evolve. But don't feel shy to call yourself an expert. Don't say, oh, well, I'm not an expert. I just started. But you are the expert. You know exactly what you're doing. And people want to learn from those who know what they're doing. And that starts with you taking that action. So in this phase, I would love to hear from you. What are 3 steps that you're gonna take to position yourself as an expert? Whether you're going to do some guest blogging, whether you're gonna start booking some speaking engagements, or even if you're going to start, sharing more in terms of your social media outlets to position yourself as an expert, as far as Tip Tuesdays, or a tip a week or something, or a tip a day, or maybe writing a blogging series where you're blogging for 21 days and people are just going to your website every day because they have to know what happens, even if it's not a series. But maybe you want to blog for a certain number of time to create that buzz about your business. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Also, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask and share below. I want to thank you again for watching part 2, and part 3 will be available this Thursday, which is the final installment, and it's very, very important that you tune in, because I am going to give you some juicy details on how you can take all of this information and make it that profitable business that you're looking to have. Again, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the comments below. Bye, everyone.